Hello, I just want to talk briefly about two parts of designing your website. A couple of reminders for folks because I'm consistently making the same feedback on a lot of websites. And again, I use the term website generally. You might be publishing on a blog, you might be publishing on a wiki format, or you might be writing your own code, but whatever format it is, two things that you need to attend to. And the first is the attribution of images, and the second is the accessibility of the design of your website. And thought I would just make a quick video to walk folks through this since it is coming up again and again throughout the course. So the first is with images, and if you look here at my Makerspace example blog, you are expected to use rich media, and that means bringing in videos or images. Some of those are going to be things you create yourself, in which case you do need to use the caption function and attribute it to yourself. That also goes for if you're creating a screenshot that you want to attribute where you got that image. If you are not the creator of the media, you need to ensure that you take a look at the attribution guidelines. And if you're not sure how to find these, back in the Blackboard site where it says Writing Style Guide, that's the document. This is the document that will pop up, and I'm on page 3 here for attribution of images. As a leader in the field of educational technology, it's really important for you to model best practices with digital citizenship and making sure that you're using Creative Commons licensed images that other folks have made available to you to use. And there's a variety of sort of levels of Creative Commons in terms of what you have permissions to do, and you need to attend to those. This video here that I've pointed out is from Common Sense Education, which a lot of you I think have used in various forms. It's very well done in terms of why it matters and sort of how to do it. Along with some links here in terms of finding Creative Commons best practices and then examples. So if this is my image and I'm using it, the correct attribution is the name of the artistic media by the author, and you'll see those are both hyperlinked. And then it's licensed under what type of Creative Commons license, so that again there's share alike, attribution, all different sort of formulas there, and you want to indicate which it is. So that is on your Maker Journal, making sure that you attribute the images correctly. And then the other piece is thinking about the accessibility of your website. Web media, like other forms of media, needs to be accessible to all learners. Section 508, which is part of the Rehabilitation Act, in fact, puts this into law and sort of a practice that you need to be familiar with. Some of you who have already taken an SED, Assistive Technology, or a UDL class may have had this content, but it's really important to think about when you're designing your website. For someone with low vision or no vision, a screen reader is going to be the way they are interacting with your web page. And that means that the headers that I'm asking you to use when you are composing serve really two purposes. They serve to visually break up the page for someone with typical vision, but also they will be read as a header when a screen reader is using your website. And so they're a really important part of designing well for all learners. And the other piece is when you are adding an image, you want to be adding something called an alt text, which is the alternative text. And so what happens with alt text is as the screen reader comes down the page, when it hits the image, it will read out loud the alt text. So the alt text might say image of robotics area, okay, or image of students using computer. When you are working with your website, I will put this link in as well, some good reminders from here from WebAIM about how do we look at these pieces, why do we need to look at them, and again, why do we attend to the visual both as a design element, but also more importantly, an accessibility element for all learners? And this is something you would want to also be teaching to students if you have them publishing as well. So I find this site is a good overview in terms of sort of the how and the why. From this same organization, there is also a link, and I will give you the specific link to it, where you can put in the URL for your site. When you are doing this, don't put in your whole site, put the post URL. You drop that in, and what will happen is it will actually go through and tag the areas where it's seeing different things. You click on this. I have used an ordered list, all right, meaning that that's hard-coded into the page. I haven't typed the number 1 and then launching a makerspace, so that again, that will be recognized by a screen reader. And you can see that. Here I'm being flagged that I've actually embedded my URL twice. So it will check some of those pieces. It will show you here I haven't just enlarged my font. I'm using what's hard-coded into the site as a header too. Again, if you have a background in HTML, some of this probably makes sense to you in terms of how the screen reader is reading the code behind your site. And then it will show you where your alt text is and so on. So please, as you are working with your websites, attend to these pieces. They are not just sort of requirements for this class, but also practicing good digital citizenship with using others' media and also making inclusive environments for our learning. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and look forward to working with you all as you continue to polish the kind of publishing you're doing on your web-based platforms.